Hi everyone, and welcome to our sixth episode of IWWOF Talks Business with. We are International Working Women of Finland. We are an association, and we were born as a Facebook digital networking group in August 2019. We are officially, since this week, 5,000 members, which we are very proud of. And our aim is to connect all women of Finland, regardless if they are Finnish or foreign, together and support each other in our mainly working life, but also other aspects of our lives. Then more specifically about the IWWOF Talks. So in this online webinar series, we are meeting with some of the most interesting change leaders in the country. And we have been hearing about so many inspiring companies already. And today is again a fantastic episode that we have prepared for you. And why we have been organizing these episodes is because we want to broaden our community's horizon and give you access directly to the business leaders that are in Finland and their companies and their missions and the things that they are up to and what's the future of their company. When we talk about business, we talk about business at large. So it can be technology, it can be commerce, it can be diversity and inclusion, any of these topics. So welcome to this episode. Today we are talking mainly about sustainability and a lot about innovation with Olga Milico, who is working as a process engineer in VTT or VTT in English, which is the largest research center in Finland and one of the largest in Europe. So Olga, welcome. My co-host today is Galith, and now the floor is to you, Olga.
Hi everyone, good evening, and I hope you had a good day. Now it's a good time to change or shift your focus from daily tasks to something else. So I hope to make this interesting and welcome everyone. So we will be discussing tonight about my company where I work and also the story how I ended up in Finland. Before Finland, what's my educational background? What do I do nowadays in my position? What's the role of VTT in Finland in general globally? Who are our customers and how can we be of use for them? And we will talk also about our people who work in the company, why they like to work in our company, and how the company is taking care of the people. And something else, your questions also are welcome. And also, I think Caroline mentioned before that we will talk about the career opportunities. So if you have any questions, we will discuss about that.
Yes.
Next slide. So about myself, I'm Olga. I am from Moldova, and I thought that usually people don't know anything about Moldova. That's why I decided today to bring a little bit of national folklore, the typical clothing ornaments. It's usually red roses on a black background. You can find this on carpets, very popular thematic, on shirts, on bags, you name it, on shoes. And I even got red roses earrings today, if you can see it. So I studied in a faculty of radio electronics and telecommunications, and I was especially attracted by one major that they had there. It was named engineering and electro-optics. So why electro-optics and not something more popular that every woman would choose? Doctor, teacher, I don't know. Nothing of that was attractive to me. And at school, I was doing pretty well in physics. I didn't like much chemistry, but yeah, it was okay. I liked biology, but I couldn't spend 7 years in school just studying theory. So I thought, what will give me a boost into a very demanding position or profession that is required everywhere in the world? And I don't need to spend like 7 years of studies and then practice and much longer. So there I ended up. It was the only thing that was not so obvious as everything else, like law, business, management, all that stuff. So I wanted to be different. And so I studied engineering, and actually this study program granted me or opened my knowledge or my understanding about the high-tech world. And I remember myself sitting in the classroom in the university, and we were looking at a presentation about Intel, the state-of-the-art company that is producing components for our laptops, computers, and everything else. I thought it's only laptops and computers, but turns out that they do so much more. And I was sitting in that class and thinking, oh my God, this feels so exciting. It's my dream to be there. But Intel doesn't exist in Moldova. How do I get there? So I moved to Israel. And guess what? I sent my application to Intel. And Moldavian education was enough for them to let me in and trust me and give me like really difficult tasks to solve. I was very happy there. And after about 2 years, maybe 3, 2.5, something like that, I was thinking, I'm doing so good, so well. I'm really successful in what I do. So how about growing in my position? So I would need to have a local education to go into leadership position. Then I enrolled in the Israeli university, where I studied master's in industrial engineering and management, which also helped me a lot in my work at Intel. So the picture that you see, like a microscope, and there there are some small squares. It's a silicon wafer that has probably around 200 or 300 devices that are later used in machines or medical equipment or sensors that are used on a daily basis in critical equipment, as like gas detection or car computer, so the car can decide to brake when it senses that there is a need of braking and the driver does not brake by himself. After working in this industry about 6 years, 5 years and 11 months, I landed in Finland for some other reasons, not just career focused reasons. And I landed in Espoo, and I started to look around what's there in Espoo, where can I apply my knowledge and my expertise, and who is the biggest company in Finland that can satisfy my hunger for giving out my energy and like my knowledge and really be involved, not just how do I say that? Visiting the office, so to say. Yeah. And we will see a short video about how my daily work happens, or what do I do on a basic day at work.
All right, let's try to watch the video then. Hopefully we have no network issues and the sound is working. Let's try.
This is my office. So I work in a clean room. We have to gown, as you see, full coverage, full protection. VTT is also producing or developing devices that are vital in technology. This is disruptive technology, and the sensors are used in most modern equipment in the world. The machinery we use is very complex. You can see the silicon wafer processing requires lots of different processes, like chemical and physical processes. And this is our slogan, Beyond the Obvious. I will take the control now and will continue sharing. 1 second.
Yes.
While you continue sharing, I have to react on a really, really vital thing you said. First of all, thanks for telling about your story. But one thing you said that I really liked is that you were selecting environments and companies in which it was more than just showing up for a job, but it was about where you gave your energy and what mattered to you. And I think we tend to forget this in the work environment, especially as foreigners, that, you know, beggars can't be choosers. But I think it's really important to be quite deliberate about where we give our energy and our intelligence. So
thank you very much, Galith.
I really appreciate that you raised it. So thanks for reminding us of that important
Thank you. Thank you. Really, of course, there are many other companies that I could apply my knowledge or contribute to their needs with what I can help with. But for some reason, I always looked for the biggest company or the company that is making the biggest impact in the world, that is cutting edge, that is innovative, somewhat standing out, and it's somewhat special, that I can be proud of my company when I'm talking to people. I'm not just sending the message out that, yeah, I work in this company, the name is, and my title is, and my daily tasks are, but just be really passionate about this.
Yeah, I can see Caroline is agreeing with you very strongly. She's like totally buying what you're saying.
I'm glad. So about VTT, as you can see here, we like to think about ourselves that we are a visionary company, and we are a partner for innovation. Other companies obviously also do innovation, but we could help or could partner, we could co-create, and the end product will go to the society. Everything we do is for the well-being of the society. So basically, that simple people will benefit, not just rich people will have this, or everyone will have it. So because everyone matters. Yes. More about VTT. So some people will ask, so what is this company? Who is funding this? Where's the money coming from? Why are you so cool? And so on. The funding comes, thank you. The funding is coming from the Finnish government. And that means it comes from our taxes. Every one of us who is working or not working, who is paying taxes, everyone is contributing. So I would like you to feel part of this help for the society, for development that you do. Maybe you don't do, but you contribute financially. So we get the funding from Business Finland. We get the funding from European Union academic institutes. Lots of projects are done in cooperation with local Finnish partners. like local companies who are looking for some help. Imagine the situation that a company has an idea, they don't have enough knowledge, or they don't have enough equipment, or they don't have enough money to buy all of the necessary like software, you name it. Everyone is entitled to talk to us and ask for collaboration or ask for help in some sort of research, development, or something. Our house is full of experts that shape the future. Basically, we tackle the problems that are in front of us now, that we face the problems nowadays, every day, or problems that will happen in future. So what kind of problems are those? Everyone knows 2020, Corona crisis. That's one of the biggest problems. Actually, no one was able to predict. But VTT has different departments in various industries. That could be chemistry, biology, industry, food, textiles like clothing, machinery, space, satellites, communication, radio electronics like 5G antennas, autonomous vehicles, safety, cybersecurity. Aren't these global challenges, guys? Right? So
only a small part, right?
So a small company in Finland is trying to tackle all of the global challenges, at least not if not tackle, then reduce, minimize, or somewhat help pushing it forward towards the solution. So about the company, it was established during the Second World War. Many things happened since then until today. Lots of revolutions, internet, mobile, industry revolution, as you can see here, business renewal, and the hot topic also is the climate change. And here we are.
Do you know if there's any particular reason why it was founded during the Second World War, or is it purely a coincidence?
I don't know. I don't know the answer, but
probably a coincidence then. Otherwise, they would tell the story, I'm sure.
I hope. Yeah, maybe. But as we know, Finland is a young country. Who remembers 100 and how many years?
106?
Yeah, I think so.
103. Yes. Good, Camilla. Thank you.
So since then, now it's like 60 years after war, 62. So probably being a very, very young country, they were still thinking what to do, how to organize everything. Things don't happen overnight. So kind of understandable, at least for me. All right. So back to the global problems, especially in 2020, optimism matters, as you can see here. If you ask people, what's your opinion? What do you think? What's the biggest problem in the world? Where should we focus? Some people will say it's the climate. Some people will say it's immigration, uncontrolled. Okay, more controlled nowadays. Other people will say, especially those in top management of companies will say, well, I don't know how else to grow my business, how to bring more revenue. you name it. If you ask me, my personal opinion, I still think medicine is highly underrated. We still have so many discoveries to do there. There are so many conditions and diseases that we have no idea even how to approach that. You know, like we launched rockets to space, we got to Mars, we have 5G, we have internet, Instagram's fun, lots of things for fun, electric cars, any kind of food that you can imagine, everything is available. Like we live really an amazing time. Our grandparents didn't have half of what we have today. And I think our kids will have way more than we have. Yes, so medicine still did not develop in the past years. And one of the things that, for example, VTT is trying to contribute with is that maybe some of the audience knows that there is high resistivity to antibiotics. Many bacteria or many bacteria is not responding to antibiotics. For example, they developed a resistivity, and no matter how long you take these pills or what dose, the bacteria doesn't care. So there is no way to cure it. And how this resistivity, for example, appeared, or why do we have this problem now? Well, one of the reasons is that lots of industries are throwing waste into rivers and sweet water reservoirs like lakes, and then even like pharmacy industry is doing that, let's say not in developed countries as Finland or somewhere in Southeast Asia, just an example, Africa, where the control of the waste is less strict. And yeah, this is the result. So basically people take the water from this river, from this lake, and whenever they have a problem that has to be treated with medicine, this medicine doesn't work. So VTT is trying to develop new methods, like new ways that is not medical solution. It's something else. I don't know if I can disclose this, but we will get there maybe.
Yeah, I think you have quite a lot of good examples in the presentations, and being conscious of the time and you know, giving the opportunities then for Q&As and stuff. I think it would be nice to get like concrete projects
examples
that we've been working on. I think maybe not going through all of them, but at least some selected ones that also match in a way with your personal values. That what are the most important ones that you think could be mentioned today, and of course in relation to innovation and sustainability as well, like you mentioned, the waste of water and things like that. So I think those are like really interesting to know that Finnish Research Center is actually working on those.
Right. So again, just to emphasize this, our focus is to do innovation. So basically to find a solution for a problem in a new way, something that no one thought about this before. Our main areas of interest are here: climate action, two winters in Finland. For me, I think we really have climate change, no snow or very little snow and quite high temperatures for this season. So climate change is real. Then industrial renewal. In the industrial area, we do the analysis of like what's happening in the world. Is it good or not? What can be improved, optimized? So we see that lots of processes are leading to waste. And first of all, that's not sustainable. It's not good for the environment. And second, it's loss of money for the business. no business wants to lose money, right? Then resource sufficiency. So we all know that we are consuming constantly, like consuming from the nature, the resources, the minerals, the water, the energy, the oil. No one is giving back. Or very, very little countries who are thinking about that. So basically, it's a big, big problem. Then the area of good life, VTT is focusing on the person's well-being, not only like from the perspective of having things around and having everything you want, like a new phone, a new car, and I don't know, fancy apartment, but also that the society flow, this is very common, the flow in the society is smooth, optimized, and basically doesn't cost much for the society, right? And safety and security, well, this is very important from my point of view, especially with the, I don't want to sound pessimistic now, but with the wars that happen in Sudan, in Iran, other countries. So how can we avoid another nuclear war or something like that? Yeah, so to analyze all this data and to understand where we need to focus our resources and our time and energy, like really need to have a lot of data, and this data has to be shared. Basically, we inquire this data from public spaces, which is hospitals, schools, companies that belong, industries that belong to the government also. So the data is easily accessible. For example, commercial companies that are private usually tend to not share anything, zero information, because it's their own privacy, it's property, it's their intellectual property. So kind of it's very hard to quantify and do some analysis about that. Yeah, so we are getting close to some examples, what I wanted to bring and tell you about cool stuff, cool products that VTT is developing. And here you can see some hints about that. For example, food without fields. Could you imagine that? How is that possible, right? Or cancer detecting cameras. Imagine you have a phone, like a cell phone, you take a picture, and there is some algorithm, there is some software that is able to predict, to make some sort of estimation. Is this condition in the person body like something like we need to treat, or it's fine with just enough with medicine to treat it? Like I meant surgery or medicine. Yes. So let's talk about a couple of examples. Really, they are very at my heart. Like I really loved these ideas. So you understand that I don't work with all of these products or all of this development. And I tried to gather from the company as much as I could find, but definitely this is not everything. We have much more. And yeah, I'm trying to do some publicity for VTT, because this usually is not published in the newspapers, and people don't like to brag about this, super humble. Yeah, so my mission is like to open the curtain and spread it in the mass, like so we can be proud of what we do. For example, low carbon for the climate action. Low carbon, imagine that now we all know that there are electric cars, so it's definitely near to zero emissions, but VTT has different programs that are even carbon negative. So VTT has targets that in 2030 we will be zero emission as a country. Finland will be zero emissions CO2, and later even negative. So there is more oxygen than CO2 in the atmosphere. Imagine how cool is that? I have a friend that used to live in Finland. She's from Germany, and when she went back, she's writing to me and saying, "Oh, I miss Finland so much." I'm like, "Do you really miss this cold and dark and I don't know, rainy weather sometimes?" She's like, "No, you don't understand. The air is so clean." I'm like, "Yeah, but Germany is also not like so bad." And she's like, "I can feel the difference. It's another level." And actually, I'm happy for living here and having this luxury.
But one comment from my side, Olga,
Yeah.
which is half a question, but in a sense, like, you know, clouds and the sky don't know borders in the same way that we in politics or in, you know, citizenships and so on know the borders. So though I think, of course, the intention of Finland is noble and we should develop whatever tech we can also at local level, and have the right behavior in the culture and in the mindset of the people to try to reach those targets. Of course, we can't fully influence what's coming from other countries via water or air, for instance. So there is a lot, of course, of the actions and these signatures of decrees and all these things coming and going, but not all countries adhere to that. Not all countries in a way are believing even that climate change, or country leaders at least, that climate change is a challenge. So when we talk about zero carbon, that do you still feel that the VTT has a mission more on the tech side, but also on the political side to try to get an influence? How are they positioned in that sense?
I think that VTT tries to, first of all, solve this problem locally for Finland, and then Finland can be an example for other countries in the world. I'm not sure if this is a political thing. We're scientists, we are kind of not involved in any politics. But if we will have a product, you can see in another column, in second column here, capture CO2 from the air. So there is a machine standing outside, like imagine small box, right? Working day and night to suck the air and filter the air and take the CO2 out of it and keep it in this box, right? We could sell this box to some other countries.
Yes. And I guess in a way that some of these projects are funded, like you said, by customers who have a very specific problems and they don't have the infrastructure to do the research, develop the products and stuff. But then some of the other projects which you have listed here, they are probably funded through the government funding, because that's what VTT is. It's actually a government-owned research center. So I guess in a way there is perhaps a political statement also from the Finland that they are investing so much, because you said earlier very humbly a small research center, but as I was reading about it, I understand it's actually one of the leading research centers in Europe, or it is Northern Europe, sorry, though we may not be the biggest country. So I guess there is also maybe an intent from Finland as a political entity to really invest also in these programs. And I love the fact that you say we can maybe lead by example. Then if we manage to act locally, can we influence globally? So I think there is a lot of learnings also we can take, not only in this context, but for anything that we do in relation to sustainability or innovation in even our personal life or our own companies. So I really like that message, actually.
It is definitely funded by government, but I think this, I'm sorry, this thing is a little bit cultural. In other countries, let's say even in Moldova, I recently saw a picture from a satellite, and I could see like the whole Europe, and it was focusing on forest, how much forest we have, like in Spain, how much forest there is in Finland, how much forest there is in Belgium, I don't know. And then I saw how much forest we have in Moldova, 10% of territory. And in Finland was something like 80 or 90, this number, I don't remember. And I thought, why? Because I know some 20 years ago, Moldova still had a big forest. There is a name for this forest, and this forest is in all of our traditional folklore. There is this name of this forest, and they say it's the biggest forest, and so on. And like, where's the forest now, guys? So some governments, I don't know, are conscious about this, and some governments are not. Or it's not that the government is doing, or in Brazil, as you know, the rainforest is cut down to build new industry. I don't know, it's very sad, at least for me, but kind of it's a cultural thing, I think. Let's move on, guys. So here in the food economy, 4.0, in our labs we can have eggs without chicken. So we developed egg protein from the mushrooms. So the mushrooms don't need as much space as a farm of chicken. They don't need as much water. They don't need medication. They don't need like cleaning and so on. It's much more efficient production. Or here, plastic can be done from orange peels. You eat in the kitchen your orange, and next day you know that this peel is gonna be your plastic cup. Isn't this fascinating? At least for me it is. Yeah, for example, we have another thing to be proud about is fabrics from proteins.
So by the way, Olga, I mean, all of these are pretty fascinating, and yeah, I do get excited at the idea of the, mushroom to egg. I was making a joke to Caroline that what came first, the egg or the mushroom? I'm sure you have the actual scientific answer to that. But maybe the silly question for me, those are very kind of dramatic potential change to the society. They don't yet have commercial applications. So are those going to work together with companies in collaboration? Are they kind of prototyped on behalf of? And how do they actually become real and actually change our world in practice? I'm really curious to the scale-up world.
Actually, there are real companies who took this idea. One of my next slides, I think, or maybe later, is that VTT is helping to scale up, or to imagine if inside the company there is some person that is coming with some cool idea that really works, like this, now making a textile from proteins, or like leather bags that are not leather anymore. You don't need to kill a cow or to kill some animal or to 5 years wait until it grows and then kill. So you can have this protein leather bag or shoes that are really lasting for 5-10 years, and it looks amazing, and copy paste of leather. So if this person wants to create their own company outside of VTT, so they are like doing a spin-off, it's like a daughter company, VTT is sponsoring this new formation of the company, and basically is helping with everything possible to set up the production line and scale up. We have multiple examples of that. Not sure I can bring up here some names. Sometimes. Sorry?
Then don't bring the names. We've
yeah.
names in previous episodes, and I'm not doing that again. So
yeah. But there is real application. It's not just that we made something and we keep it on the paper, we keep it in the lab,
I
and
can
nobody
totally
else.
imagine. So I mean, that's really the key of everything, isn't it? To make it real and actually marketable.
One example, I'm pretty sure you know about this. There is a company Finnish company that is making packaging from cellulose. So basically you think it's plastic, but it's something like pressed wood or cellulose solution, something. And I think they were substituting all the Lumene packaging, which earlier was plastic. Now they are using this technology. So if there is not a spin-off company, then we're trying to sell this idea to industries that are really taking this into life. It's not just like, wow, we made this invention, let's keep it inside. Then there is no point. Right, so let's move on.
Just to give you an indication, you've got about 15 minutes left, and yet we don't have questions yet on the chat, so you can keep going, but we should take the questions and then the recruitment corner as well. Right. So just let me know if there are questions in between. You can easily cut me off. I'm fine with that. So every Monday we have again another slogan in the company that miracles happen on Monday. Usually people don't like to come to office on Monday, and we're the opposite. During the weekend, we're thinking, where can I continue on Monday? Like, what else should I do? Because I'm an inch close to the solution, and I don't want to wait another month or another week or another, I don't know how long, to have this thing working so we can sell it. So you can see some clothing picture here. We're doing smart clothing that is like regulating the temperature of the body. There are some settings. It's not in my department that they do this, but I heard cool stories that, like, in the winter, especially if someone is working outside, you need like extra heating. Let me go back one slide or two slides. Here, this thing, if you can see my pointer, it says emotion radar, so smart build environment. VTT is doing such a thing that will understand the emotions of people. Imagine you come into office on Monday and you are not into your best mood. There will be sensors. This is something like stories from the future, right? You shouldn't be scared about this, because sometimes it's like, oh, my privacy and stuff like that. But no, everything is fine, not related to identities. So there will be sensors that can understand, are you happy? Are you sad? Are you tired? Are you, tell me, demotivated, something like that. And the environment will react or try to help you or like support you or this person by turning some nice music, putting the lights off a little bit more, like darker, or the opposite if you are really into, you didn't wake up that morning, so like birds singing, more light, something very joyful. Basically, it's called, from the name you can see, emotion radar. It knows to recognize what do you need. And let's think of Finnish winter. What do we all need? A little bit of sun. Transplanted into a robot that will see my face in the morning and go get me a tea. That's not very much about sustainability. That's more my personal convenience. But still, I like the idea. Yes. Very nice. Yeah. So we're very proud of our cooperation with commercial companies, which are not only like public sector. So we also have a joint project, as I said, with the academy from other European countries. We have partnership with commercial companies from European countries, not only European countries, basically, everywhere. Olga, there are some questions online.
Yeah.
I think you're getting people excited about, all the cool stuff that you are doing. And I think that most of us enjoy our day job, but maybe it's not as fun and innovative as what you guys are doing. So actually people are already starting to ask about the people centricity at the VTT and how to join. So if you can maybe move on from the customers and go now directly into the career, I think that would be a great timing for that. So maybe skip the customer part. Lots of prestigious customers, but maybe go then into the recruitment and how is VTT as a company. That would be great.
So about the company, we have branches in Turku. We all just opened a new branch, Tampere, Oulu, and Espoo. So basically spread pretty much everywhere in Finland. We are third most desired workplace amongst engineers. So basically our core occupation is engineering. Obviously we have people from different other fields as social sciences, like, as I said, emotional radar. You need lots of psychologists and I don't know, people who understand people, not just engineers.
So
we need
for our audience as well that there is career opportunities beyond tech, and I think that's
definitely
why we do those episodes, because not people have a lot of assumptions about companies, and that's why we try to bring companies to our community now to discover these kind of facts, for instance, that it's not just about tech. So you also have psychologists and such.
Definitely. So marketing, customer relationship, it's like when we're doing sales, somebody needs to take care of the sales or negotiations with the customers. So basically it's not related to tech. It's not an engineering job. HR, obviously we have about 3,000 people, so we need lots of HR people. How about the company itself? So we have almost 40% women and almost 60% men. That's the distribution. Caroline, you asked me how was it 10 years ago, and I made sure to ask this from our HR, and I got the numbers, and unfortunately the numbers did not change. Well,
that's all right.
when I saw the numbers that I got from HR, it's exactly the same, and I thought to myself, in 10 years nothing changed. But as you can see on this slide, a thing that I like very much, we have 47 nationalities, and in this year 2020 is with all the problems with corona, with traveling, like getting talent from abroad, this didn't stop us from hiring 200 more people, and more than 50% are international. So they were they relocated to Finland to work for VTT.
Actually, there's a question related to that, which just before you mentioned the facts. So you said almost 200 hires this year. That's a huge number, especially with so many.
200, yeah. No one was laid off.
Yeah.
200 people hired.
That's brilliant. And one of the questions was actually about the fact that it seems all the positions, at least that this person is seeing, are for senior researchers. So is it so that the profile is always senior researcher, or there is also like opportunities for more junior researcher maybe to join as well?
Definitely. So I myself, I'm hiring every summer summer trainee. Mm-hmm. So it's usually a student in his advanced years of study. It can be bachelor. Already I could take that person. Okay. Obviously masters, it's even better. No one expects to hire a person who knows everything and he's a senior.
Got it.
Our philosophy is like, we will take you as you are. We will teach you what you don't know. We will be happy to learn from you also. Got it. But you don't have to be like with 10 years of expertise. This is absolutely not a thing, not mandatory, not a prerequisite.
Okay, and my apologies, by the way, we seem to have a small delay, so I keep speaking over you. The second question related to that was around the fact that it seems maybe not all the positions might be on the platform. So do you, like job searching platforms, so do you recruit directly in the universities, or are usually the position open? As being a state company, I would like to think that actually all the positions are open, but I'm not sure. So that's a question also from here.
We have two kinds of employment. One is that advertised publicly, other that we have internal positions that we actually want somebody to know already quite a bit what is VTT and how it's functioning. So we cannot just technically afford taking a person from outside that has no clue. And then, yeah, we do have internal promotions and those are not advertised. But from the universities, there is definitely, help me, this website, academic entry or academic something.
Academic works.
Yes, exactly. Thank you. All the job fairs, Messukeskus, we are there. We were in Slash. We are hiring people just from conversating. Like I could talk to someone and this person will tell me, oh, I studied this and that and I'm unemployed. I'll do my best to fit this person in. It's not like black and white. It can happen everywhere and in any possible way.
Got it.
Also, we always have this open application. So that's very well used as a tool, like to take talent into the company. Yeah.
Thank you. I think you answered all the questions from these ones, so you can carry.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah, but at the core, you can see we still like have lots of people that have PhD, that have some master's degree. For example, my master's degree is, as I said, from a different country and it was accepted. No prejudice in that. Very open company. VTT is taking care of the well-being of the employees. For example, we have like the new thing now is when you book a meeting for 1 hour, you thought it will be 1 hour. So you're technically forced to make it 40 minutes, like work less. And especially now you heard in the government, it's promoted this 4 days working week. So we're really pushed by the top management, like to work less, to take more breaks, to spend the breaks in exercise, in some meditation. So the company is providing access to meditation apps like Headspace. We have psychological support, so our own psychologist that you can book a meeting and talk about your problems if you have any. Doesn't matter what is it related, work, life, anything, everything is free. We have a club for young professionals. I love this club. They do lots of cool stuff. Training to something that like VTT wouldn't think about it. For example, how to give a good presentation. Or we had a hackathon and we went to Jyväskylä to a cottage house, spent there 3 days hacking new climate ideas, something like that. Everything is sponsored by the company. The company is sending the people abroad for different conferences. Mentoring program. Sorry?
I was making a bad joke, but that maybe not so much this year, sending the people for
Yeah.
So that's kind of fun as well. Sorry.
Right. So basically, the idea of the company is like to create a better future for everyone in whatever possible way. whatever the person might need in life, like better food, more well-being, like you remember this emotional radar, so having stuff like that. Yeah, many examples. Really, my memory is failing me now. And
I think you covered quite a lot in that sense. So I think that one reflection maybe before, I'm afraid we are going to have to close in a few minutes for today, but one thing we have discussed with a lot of the companies so far in the series is that in order to foster innovation, you need to have diversity and you also need to have inclusion. And I think what's interesting about VTT is that the core of what you're doing is about innovation. And in a sense, like you do have a lot of diversity. We saw the numbers, even though 39% women is not 50%, it's still a pretty good number, actually. You have so many.
My manager is a woman and her manager is a woman and other manager above is a woman. So I think the numbers lie. I see lots of women around me.
That's a good example. But I think, you know, like diversity fosters innovation. And then if we're thinking from the inclusion point of view, I think the fact that you have those programs for the younger team members as well, and then you have this kind of room or space to think, to reflect. I mean, I couldn't imagine doing innovation if I'm neck deep in the same task, like all day long, doing nothing else like a robot. I suppose at some point you have to be able to step out of your role and feel included in other topics, other teams, being asked your opinion about something, getting the opportunity to express yourself openly. So I think that this is quite interesting combination that resonates a lot with other episodes actually we've done with other companies who are not primarily focusing on innovation, but do have, of course, innovation as part of their business. So it's very, very interesting stuff.
Yeah, I myself recently enrolled in a mentoring program that is focused on sales. I'm an engineer, sales, you know. It's possible. And VTT is it's very possible, like to develop yourself, your professional horizon in various directions.
Yeah. Wonderful. I think that we're going to have to stop for today, though I have to say that I could go back to the examples that you had earlier and talk about them for hours, but unfortunately we're on the clock, so we can talk then next time we see each other over coffee. But I really want to thank you. I think this was a very inspiring episode, and I think especially your journey was very self-spoken and I think very appreciated by our audience. There were a lot of comments about your wonderful introduction.
Thank you very much.
I think this is great, and I think we learned about VTT a lot. I don't know if there is moms on the groups, but I'm going to say the same thing than to Sweko last week, which was about cities of the futures and stuff. If your daughters are in school, try to share those episodes with them or talk about those companies with them and try to inspire them to go into engineering and into technology, because I think one of the challenges why we don't have the 50-50 in women to men ratio in those companies is not that the companies don't want to change, it's just because there is not enough girls in those tracks in the universities. So they need to get the education to get those super fancy, fun jobs, which are very much about innovation. So I think I'm not a tech person, I'm not very, innovative person to begin with, but maybe I wish that I had those role models when I was younger and I could have learned that, there is these possibilities out there. So I think that's my personal message, also one of the reasons why I want to do those shows. So thank you so much for that. I don't know, Galith, if you want to have the final word.
No,
I would just like to say that.
Final word, Olga, for sure. I just also wanted to thank, and definitely I'd like to have a follow-up with you on some of the projects because they're damn fascinating.
Yeah, I just wanted in my turn to thank you for spreading the word about VTT, to shed more light on that there are so many opportunities and open possibilities for everyone, especially as you said, we need more women, because usually women are more like open to give feedback and to say, I don't like this, I don't like that, let's improve, So the opinion of a woman always matters. So thank you very much for organizing this event. I'm very grateful.
Thank you, everyone. And that's a wrap for today. We'll tell you more about the 2021 events very, very soon.
Merry Christmas to everyone.
And
Bye-bye.